Thank you very much. It's certainly a pleasure to be here amongst so many knowledgeable speakers with so many exciting opportunities for us to develop our future and see our future and our children's future in that visioning and mirror. I'd like to talk some about interconnectedness and relationships. I have a project that towards the end of my talk I'm going to highlight and feature. It's an exciting project for us here in Madison. It's a green energy and sustainability project. But first I'd like to kind of tell you the story of how this project came about, the variety of relationships that were built and connections that were made to make this project actually happen and be possible. The relationships I'd like to talk about are relationships, as were mentioned, that are with a community across the sea, Freiburg, Germany. Madison's sister city in Germany. Madison has a variety of sister cities. Freiburg is the one that sits in Germany. We've been looking to Freiburg and relationships in Freiburg for a long time. My parents in the mid-1960s actually met in Freiburg. My mother was a junior year abroad student from UW-Madison. She went to Freiburg to learn a little bit more about German culture and history. She met my father there, who was a German citizen, who was studying to be a physician. They met, romantic city, one thing led to another, and here I am, a direct result and byproduct of our sister city relationship. So that was the mid-60s. The relationship between the universities continued. They had the opportunity to exchange, people learned from one another. Roll on into the 1980s. Two mayors, one in Freiburg, Rolf Böhme, and one here in Madison, James Sensenbrenner, met one another. They realized that there was a strong connection between the universities already, and they decided that they would solidify this relationship in the form of a sister city kind of treaty, a piece of information that says, well, we're going to collaborate, we're going to talk, we're going to have exchange, we'll have free homestays, we'll certainly drink a little bit of beer. They liked each other, as the history goes, and that's what set the basis for that sister city relationship. So universities already connected, relationships building there. In 1988, the sister city document was signed, so the two cities were actually connected. I think in that regard, it didn't hurt that we had a Ratskeller here at the university, though I think at that point in time, it may have still been serving 3-2 beer. So we adjusted that. Now we have this strong building relationship. Moving into the late 90s, that relationship continues to nurture. We have exchanges, we have people going back and forth, homestays, delegations from one city to another. And it became apparent to me as I came back to Madison as an adult, having not actually lived here. Being born, 30 days later I was back in Freiburg. 3 years of Freiburg-related experiences, come back, kindergarten, not speaking any English, of course, in the Madison school system, but I learned as I went. So here we are in the late 90s, coming back to Madison and realizing that this connection already exists between these two cities and trying to frame that in the context of renewable energy and sustainability. The opportunities exist there. Many of us know that Germany is a forerunner, as is much of Europe, in renewable energy, sustainability, green type of thinking. And how can we benefit from that? Well, that sister city bond, that relationship that already exists. And you can see that Freiburg is a beautiful type of place, tip of the Black Forest, enjoyable, very tourable, special. And we have many bonds and relationships already with the people that are there within the Sister City program itself. We have citizen groups on either side, and you see a picture there on the right-hand side of Tony Schlegel, who's been a very, very important part of a lot of this Sister City connection. So we start looking over to Europe, we start looking over to Germany, we start looking for models, opportunities for green energy and sustainability options. And what do we see in Freiburg? Do we see a city that has basically rested on its post-Crusader laurels, very beautiful cobblestone streets, variety of churches, canals, very romantic. Remember my parents. No, actually we see that and a whole lot more. We start seeing a community that's moved forward. They've embraced the future. They've started looking at that green change that's really possible. A lot of people asked me early on when I looked at these comparisons, well, how can we learn something from a community that's actually across the ocean in a culture that's different, in a place where they actually speak a different language? And I said, well, you know, let's look at the similarities, not the differences. City in Freiburg, about 220,000 people. Well, pretty similar to Madison. Strong university town, very tourable, beautiful, exciting. People like visiting there. But what have they done with all of that opportunity? You can see green energy. That's an example of BIPV, Building Integrated Photovoltaic, for those of you that haven't heard that acronym. Photovoltaic on the side of buildings. My engineering friends often say, oh man, that's a bad use of PV. Should be up on the roof, facing south at a 30-degree angle. But I tell them as they're riding along the trolley and they look at this going by, this particular remodel of an apartment building, energy efficiency remodel with this BIPV, this dark blue iridescent color slathered all over the side of the building. And I'm like, well, it may be inefficient, but do you want to get out of the trolley and look at it? And they go, oh yeah. And so 35 minutes later and a lot of digital camera clicks and touching and feeling what there is there, and I'm kind of like, well, there you have it. That helps our public dialogue, helps us explain why renewable energy and sustainability and green opportunities for our future is such a good idea. And then we can tell everybody that actually insulating is probably the most effective bang for the buck. But you see these. Freiburg is a place where not only do you see BIPV, you also see a very advanced public transportation system. You see district heating, you see microgrids, you see use of recycling in the form of biogas and biomass. And you see a lot of built environments that we've only just begun hearing about. 2-liter houses, 3-liter houses, passive houses, energy plus houses. A house that is so energy efficient that by the time you put the photovoltaic cells on the roof, it produces more energy than it consumes in a given year. And these are all opportunities for us. I asked one of my passive house friends early on, Meinhard Hansen, well, you know, what does this mean for Wisconsin? I mean, you guys have a slightly more moderate climate over there. He said, wow, it's awful cold in Wisconsin, as he was visiting one winter day. Passive house would be a fantastic fit for you. 80 to 90% reduction in the demand load for energy, for the HVAC system, the heating and cooling, an 80 to 90% reduction. And in Madison, that would be a huge opportunity for us. Coupled with a little bit of renewable energy, we have exciting models and opportunities. So I continued on this path, found lots of linkages and people and project partners that could help me in this endeavor. Wisconsin Energy Conservation Corporation, Energy Center of Wisconsin, the Department of Commerce at the state of Wisconsin, and a variety of other people that were interested in these same kinds of opportunities. And we kept up those linkages. We kept finding contacts. In 2008, I was able, along with the help of my wife Beth, to talk Mayor Dave Cheslevich into taking a visit to Madison, to Freiburg. We had talked with him for several years about how Freiburg had all of this cool green stuff. And we're like, Dave, you got to get over there. You got to see this. Oh, I can do that later. You know, the opportunity will be there. 2008, the 20-year anniversary of our sister city pairing with Freiburg. We finally got that opportunity. Traveled over there with him, did all the hoopla that's obviously associated with a 20-year anniversary. But at the end of the day, what did he do in that week? He looked at the distributed energy grids. He looked at the sustainability neighborhoods. He looked at the biogas facilities, the BIPV, the opportunities that might be available if we could find appropriate models to move over here to Madison. The week after Mayor Cheslevich and his group was over there touring all of these opportunities in Freiburg, a group of city engineers, again, that opportunity to build relationships and bonds. We had expert transfer going on, another word I learned over there at one of my conferences, expert transfer, kind of cool. So we had engineers from the city going over there, experiencing these things on site, realizing what these highly energy efficient built environments actually meant, seeing the renewable energy, getting those opportunities. We've borrowed some of their experts. They've come over here. Klaus Hoppe, the head of their energy department, has been here to visit us, to talk to the city sustainability groups, to talk to the university, to help explain how it was that Freiburg, being a city of only 220,000, tip of the Black Forest, very nice, was able to make these advances into the green energy and sustainability field. Another example in Freiburg that's extremely exciting, this was the sustainability neighborhood of Stadtteil that we visited, not only with Mayor Dave, but with several other professionals and experts that went over there. This is a sustainability neighborhood that, judging from the picture here, it gives you the opportunity to see this isn't just about technology. This is about lifestyle change. They've moved the cars to the side of this particular sustainability neighborhood, which opens up a whole cornucopia of opportunity for kids to be playing in the streets without fear of getting run over by vehicles. In the morning, when you stay there for a week, you don't hear everybody firing up their cars. What you hear is the rustle of bicycles, children playing on the playgrounds. And you look out the window and you assume the bicycles are going to be filled with a bunch of college students and high school students that are on their way to class. No, business people, complete with attaché cases and fully suited in dark black and dark blue suits, riding down the bike path into the center of town to do their daily work and to get their opportunity for their particular business. So we've made these linkages, we've made these opportunities, but then we have to begin discovering, well, for us, what's the best fit? Do we suddenly remake an entire neighborhood to be a sustainability-oriented neighborhood with energy-efficient retrofits and maybe a microgrid? What kind of models there are ones that we could use over here? And one of the big ones that stood out was a renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainability business center called the Solar Info Center. And in that info center, name is a little bit misleading since there's renewable energy and energy efficiency businesses within that center also. This is a center of 150,000 square feet, 400 plus employees in about a range of 52 different businesses. Some of them are engineering firms, some of them are nonprofit agencies. And we began looking, how does this actually fit with what's going on here in Madison? Where could we put a center like this and an opportunity like this, and an opportunity that helps with that sustainable kind of economy? The Freiburgians have been very good at marketing and packaging these ideas, and now they're expanding them globally. One of the things they do is that they've been helping us. When Mayor Dave toured for his week, they were the ones that helped, with my participation certainly, but they were the ones that helped set up the touring, the opportunities for him so that he could see these types of things. So a real sustainable economy opportunity. Solar Info Center, that seemed to be a good fit. That would help drive markets here. That would be a collective space where a lot of our businesses and future businesses and potential overseas front offices could come and co-locate in a similar type of environment and learn from one another to kind of drive more of this green economy. And Madison being a good fit. All of us who live here understand that we have a very green-minded population. We've been accused of being rather progressive as of late, which in my mind I always thought was a good thing. Well, that progressive nature is much like Freiburg. They have this green energy economy because they protested in the 1970s. When we were protesting the Vietnam War, they were protesting a nuclear power plant that was going to be built within 30 kilometers of Freiburg. Complete, I've seen pictures of them out in the streets getting water cannoned, etc., much like a Madison of the 1970s. Well, that's how they entered into the green economy. So here, we have now project partners. We decided that this Renewable Energy and Sustainability Business Center would be a good fit for us. We found the Delta Institute in Chicago, who had contractors here that were helping us. Economic Development in the city of Madison decided that this would be a good idea. And not only a good idea, but a catalytic project opportunity for the Capital East District. For those of you who have been here for a while, that's actually the East Washington Street corridor after a couple $1,000s of rebranding. So the Capital East District, catalytic project, renewable energy and sustainability business center. We're starting to get exactly the kind of lift that we need, working on project tenants, working on welcoming people into the dialogue and the conversation, and continuing that relationship building that will make this a possibility here. And here we have, thanks to Hebing and Vanderwall and Associates, we have our 2-page document that helps outline where we're going with this particular project and the Freiburg model that it happens to be based on. Thank you very much for your attention.